So my latest read is a book called The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. The main character, Florence, is the ghostwriter for a super prolific and popular romance writer, only she has kind of a major problem in that she has recently suffered a major breakup with the person that she believed would be like the love of her life, and this has killed her ability to actually write romance stories. Like, she feels deep down that maybe romance is kind of dead for her. Like, she doesn't really believe in it anymore. She can't feel the characters that she's writing, but she has one last book left in her book deal, and the deadline is coming up really fast. So Florence goes to see her new editor to ask for an extension, or possibly to ask him to let her make it a tragedy instead. Obviously, he turns her down, which puts her in a bit of a bind, and it seems likely that she may fail, I guess, at this part of her life as well. And just when she thought things couldn't get worse, she gets a call from her family. Like, she has to head back home to help deal with the death of her father. So, so her family is a little bit unusual. Like, her father was an undertaker, so they own a funeral home, and her sister is the person now running the business. But the really bizarre thing is that after she gets home, she encounters the ghost of the editor that she literally just met on the doorstep of her old family house. So this is not actually a super unusual thing for Florence. I mean, like, seeing ghosts, both her and her father share the ability to see and speak with the dead, and it's actually the main reason that she hadn't been home in the past 10 years. Like, there was an incident in her past, and she basically ended up running away from the problems that her abilities had caused her at home. But now everything in her life is I guess pun intended, coming back to haunt her. Like, her father left behind instructions on what to do for his funeral, and part of that includes a list of seemingly impossible things that he wants. For instance, like a murder of crows and an Elvis to sing at his funeral and things like that. So she ends up partnering with the ghost of her dead editor to try to figure out how to meet her father's demands. And over the course of their working through these problems, she's also working through the problems in her own romantic life, her family relationships, her relationship with the town where she grew up, and also trying to find a way to say goodbye to her father. So something I liked. I do think the premise was what caught my attention in the first place, and I always enjoy hearing about professions that I don't know a great deal about. So I enjoy getting to learn a bit about what it's like to be an undertaker and what it was like for her growing up in this really unusual family. And her father, even though he doesn't actually appear literally in this book, features has a pretty major role, and he's definitely an interesting character to learn about, and the kind of person I think it would have been enjoyable to spend time with. Something I did not like. I think I sometimes found Florence a little difficult to relate to. I think maybe it's because of I think sometimes I found her reactions a little exaggerated. Like, the bits that she tells you about her ex, I really don't understand how she was that in love with him in the first place, because it just seems so obvious that he was kind of a terrible person. So I don't really understand her infatuation or her devastation afterward. In fact, I kind of don't know why she wasn't more angry at first, about what he did and how they ended up breaking up. If it was me, I would have been completely furious. And for instance, later on, her family knows she can see ghosts. I don't understand why it took her such a long time to tell them that it wasn't her dad that she was talking to. I think from her family's point of view, I would have thought, it makes sense that they would wonder, and it I just feel like if you're going to be a thoughtful person, that you would let them know early on, because I can imagine that it would be kind of painful, like if someone could see the person you loved that passed away and wasn't sharing it. So I don't know, they're just little things about the way that she reacts and stuff that I find it a little bit hard to understand.